Well, boom. There we
I'm
go.
making faces again. I know I am.
To stream or not to stream? That was the question this morning. I decided,
What the heck?
I'm going to go ahead and stream. Let's see here. I'm checking out one of my subscribers is Oxer, and checking out his channel for some of his Clip Studio Paint drawings. Yeah, quite a good artist, cartoonist. So anyway, where are we at? Well, I've got OPENTOONZ in essentially full screen mode here. There's really, I would say, two things in play this morning in terms of what I am learning while I crank through and sort of get this ready for ink and, well, not ink and paint, but ready for paint. The ink part's almost done. The two things that are jumping out at me this morning are, one, I'm working in full screen mode and I'm hitting the N key for actual pixel size. Just a little deceiving because I think that because the level settings don't have a DPI of, let me see what happens if I change the DPI to, let's just try 72, well actually, strike that. Yeah, okay. Level settings. Okay, so that makes everything bigger. And I believe 120 is where I was at. Yeah. So I guess this is correct. So OPENTOONZ this is full HD. So what that means is that by hitting the N key and getting actual pixel sizes, what I'm doing is I'm getting this is the actual size that the audience is going to see, in essence, when they watch the show. So that's the one thing this morning I'm going to work on, is sort of disciplining myself to, as much as possible, not zoom in and out a lot, but actually, you know, just for the fun of it, I'm going to try to get more comfortable making myself work at the actual screen resolution. Because then you're always keeping in mind what the audience is really actually going to see on the screen, and that informs the level of detail you put into your cartoons. So I think just as a practice, I think that's going to be a good thing to practice. Okay. By the way, in case you're wondering what the music is playing in the background, this is kind of my generic playlist of songs that I've it's basically production music that I've written and produced. Actually did most of these cuts last year in order to provide some content to an agency that essentially markets production film or production music to like music libraries and stuff like that. They haven't sold much. I got my first royalty check from the Harry Fox agency just the other day, and you know, after like over a year, and the check was for 9 cents. So don't think that was really, hey Inio-san. Why, you know what? What's today's subject is a good question. I don't really have a subject today per se. Yesterday we sort of got into a lot of, oh man, we got into karaoke, we got into politics, and after yesterday I kind of decided, you know, I don't think I really want to get into a lot of this political stuff on my YouTube, not on this YouTube channel anyway, because this is about animation, and I may be clouding the waters and making them murky by talking about my political views here. But I guess the only thing I'll say about that today is that I used to be more conservative, broadly speaking, than liberal, and now today I would say I'm more liberal than conservative. But I'm kind of going through a phase right now where I think I'm gonna listen to some information sources that are tilted back more towards conservative, just to get that point of view more. I'm always, wanting to understand all sides or perspectives on things. So anyway, in regards to the animation, one thing, as I said, is I'm working at the actual resolution that this would be on a TV screen. Number one, and number two is flip. I've actually, this is such a great example of that. Okay, this is a super good example of this. This is really screwed up, and I can't see it. But when I flip it, I can see how tilted it is. It's like the whole thing is slanted. It's insane. Now, it used to be that OPENTOONZ, I could probably actually fix this with the S key. It used to be the OPENTOONZ, yes, there we go. OPENTOONZ used to crash if you could flip the canvas, but if you flipped it and tried to actually do anything and use any tools, it would tend to crash. Now I'm going against what I said, and I'm zooming in because I just want to make sure I patch this up properly. But that was actually a great example. His head was so screwed up, and because I think it's because I'm right-handed, I just can't see it. Okay, so now what we're going to do, I would note that this area right here is not properly colored in, as you can see, and that's okay. This is going to be mostly, it's going to basically be a two-tone silhouette, darker here and lighter here, and it's going to mostly be done with the paintbrush, which I have mapped to the P key. So that doesn't need to be properly filled, because all I'm going to have to do is get it painted in there one time, and then I'm going to be cutting and pasting into the other frames anyway, which is what I'm about to do on the sketch as well. So what I want to do is, let's make sure, okay, yeah. So the first thing I'm going to do is take Zen, and let's get him copied over, because his arm changes position in several of these frames. So there, that takes care of that. Okay, so now we're going to go back and basically leverage as much as we can, which means I believe these guys are still moving. He's not, but he is. So what we can leverage here is this, and then I'm hitting the shift key, by the way. This, and this guy. Okay, so I can hit Control C, go to the next frame, Control V, okay. Now you might find it concerning that, whoops, you might find it concerning that these people are all standing still through all this action, and basically my answer to that is, because it's an anime, we specifically want to do that. We want to leave things standing still and let the audience focus completely on what matters in this scene, which is this. Now, of course, in the history of anime, the decision to use those sorts of techniques was largely a function of necessity and economy. In this case, it's more a function of, well, it is a function of economy, actually, in the sense that I don't want to have to redraw 800 billion more keyframes than I should, because it just winds up taking a lot of time, you know. So there's a point where you want to cut your losses and say, well, we're only going to animate this much. Okay, the only reason, by the way, I'm cutting and pasting this guy is because of that lopsidedness I saw earlier. I don't want to deal with that anymore, so I'm just figuring, you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and copy and paste this guy in so that I know his head is the right shape. Alright, so now we can go ahead and fix this up. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, boom, 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 boom. Sometimes I do that. I literally count either in my mind or even out loud when if I'm doing a mundane task. Keeps me focused. And plus I have a proclivity to time things to see how long is this taking. I think it was yesterday I said I'm going to take a little different approach to the matter of sort of determining how long things take, in the sense that I think I'm going to start working on some of this stuff. Okay, that looks stupid. Start working on some of this stuff from the standpoint of creating finished scenes and sequences that aren't as long, so that I can figure out how much finished, colored, ready to go animation I can create in one day, because I literally have no idea. I'm gonna guess it's probably about 20 seconds or something, which I think in the scheme of animation lore is pretty fast. I think I am fast. I don't know that I'm fast, but I think I am. But I'd have to actually time some things out and see. And then one thing you have to look at too is what, you know, when you think you're done and then you go back. Okay, I'm gonna change his leg position because I think it looks stupid. The question becomes, when you thought you were done and then you find out, once you're ready to commit it to maybe a final edit or whatever, you discover that there's some details that you sort of skimped on earlier that you now need to go in and fix. I mean, I definitely have a tendency to do that. You saw it in this actual sequence where I had some frames that were left almost as just stick figures, and then when I went into ink them, I realized, geez, I got a lot of work to do here to figure out, you know, the anatomy or whatever to get things, you know, actually looking properly. And it's hard to go from stick figures to final art. Usually you want to go from stick figure to drawing, you know, to a proper drawing to final art. But hey, I'm always interested in saying, hey, if I'm good enough at drawing and I know my characters, can I skip a step and get away with it, you know? If I can, great. Why not? Okay, you know, son, 20 seconds in one day, I can only make a couple of seconds. Well, yeah, but the more you do it, dude, the better you'll get, right? I mean, I know that once I know my characters, once I know my anatomy, I know my costuming, yada, 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 I know that I can, the animation process, meaning, you know, sticks and balls and sketching it out, and I know I'm fast at that. But how fast, I don't know. I mean, okay. The sequence I'm working on right now is it's the back half of the fight scene. Okay, the first half of the fight scene, all the keyframes were done in, I'm sure it was one day. And when that's finally edited and everything, it's probably going to come out to about at least 2 minutes. So I'm thinking that is kind of on the quick side. The problem is, and some people would probably call me a whiner for calling this a problem, but the problem is that ink and paint, according to my estimates, takes about 4 times as long as basic keyframe animation. Okay, so when I work on this, what I'm trying to do is I'm really asking myself, how good am I at drawing? Am I good enough to be able to literally almost create these characters at the speed of thought. That's what I'm after. That's my goal, is to be fast enough to be as fast as you can be and not make mistakes that require you to go back and fix things later. So, and that's not necessarily the most important thing. It's just an important thing to me, because I get bored easily. So part of the fun for me is seeing how efficient I can become at doing this or that. And of course, in this case, this or that means animation. Okay. Gosh, my sense is that this arm's probably going to be in silhouette, but let's not assume. So let's do that. Okay, there's something hokey here that's actually being, the way it looks is sort of being corrupted by the fact that we've got a little bit of a coincidence here. There should have actually been a gap there. Okay, so he gets choked, and it would be irresponsible of me to redraw that, probably. Why not copy it? But actually, you know what? Now, see, I'm gonna copy it. I will tell you that the reason I'm copying it is not because I don't want to redraw it. I'm copying it because I want to... Hey, Oxer. I'm copying it because I want to remember that this is an anime, and it's actually counterproductive to put in extra drawings and keyframes that aren't strictly necessary, because part of the discipline of anime specifically is to use the economies of certain production motifs that have developed in the anime space. Like, for example, what am I talking about? Something a bunch of gibberish. What I mean is, for example, in an anime, if you see a crowd, what you're probably going to see is a character that looks like this, and another character that looks like this. Okay, and they're all frozen, and the only animation is the camera moving. Okay, so for me as an animator, could I go in and animate every one of those characters so that my animation is more, you know, truer to the Disney aesthetic, let's say, than most animes? Yes, I could do that, but I actually specifically don't want to, not because I'm trying to economize, but because I'm trying to capture the aesthetic that people have come to expect from anime. So that causes me sometimes to choose to economize when I don't, you know, strictly have to. Okay, so again, I'm flipping a lot today because the more I do this, the more I realize that lopsidedness is slipping by me fairly frequently. Alright, so now here, because this is in silhouette, I'm going to just take this a step further. I'm going to put his spike right there, and then all I want to do is capture the silhouette of his body, because that's just how that's going to be implemented at the paint stage. Okay, nothing really new going on in the chat. It's cool. Alright, so well, and when I talk about this economy in the animation, understand that for me that's difficult. My propensity is to do, you know, to animate on ones, you know, or something. You know, instinctively I want to do more, not less. So I have to make myself do less. My dog is having a dream right now. She's actually barking in her dream. I think I just finished, actually. All right, I'm gonna go back out of, out of full screen mode, and let's do a quick review. Of course, here we've got a couple frames that are already inked. Aha! I forgot about this guy, didn't I? Okay. Let's get her done. Let's get her done. It's actually really good to take something you're working on, like a little sequence or something, and just let it go. Come back to it the next day, because a lot of times two things happen. Number one, you look at it and immediately see things that you could either fix or do better or whatever. Number two, on your off time, when you're not at the drawing table, a lot of times ideas and solutions come, you know, at those times. And I mean, usually we're talking about like staging problems and things like that. Like this is actually a great example of that. This sequence is probably pretty poorly conceived from a staging standpoint, because only because this is a hard action to animate. What I'm trying to animate here is, you know, obviously you could study enough, get some references, pull out your camera and shoot yourself, you know, struggling to climb up over a ledge or whatever, you know. But at the end of the day, a lot of times you don't really want to take the time to do all that. And the question is, does the staging work, you know, as it is? And I would say here the staging's just okay. But actually there's a greater sin. There's a greater sin here that's the astute observer would probably notice. And the sin is that this business of Mr. Naruto hair guy struggling to climb in the window already happened once in the show. You know, about 2 minutes earlier. And for me, I'm going, okay, do we really want to be repeating ourselves here? So from that standpoint, this sequence, if there's anything in this scene, this whole sequence here, that's going to get cut out of the show, it's probably this little business right here of this guy trying to climb in the window. That's my opinion, and at least for now I'm sticking to it. So, and of course it's my show, so I can decide what I want to do, but you know, what's going to happen is you're going to get this thing edited together. I'm just being sloppy with the line because I know that's going to wind up getting replaced anyway. Truth is, I shouldn't even be inking this line because I know it's going to get replaced with the background image or whatever. But yeah, my dog right now she's having dreams, and she's like whimpering in her sleep. That's funny. Okay, I better get this. Oh shoot. So yeah, no Krita today. No blender grease pencil. In fact, I will say that if I had it to do over again, I did all these drawings, all the red drawings. These were all done in the blender grease pencil. Okay, all this stuff. Of course, originally it was black, not red. Okay, that was stupid. I didn't mean to do that. Going here and cranking up the alpha and making this black. So all these drawings were done in blender grease pencil. If I had it to do over again, I don't think I'd use the blender grease pencil. It's like it was cool, but it wasn't that useful. It just wasn't. So, and the things that for doing pencil tests that would seem to make the blender grease pencil kind of fun and cool, which is mainly the scalability of everything, because it's kind of like using vectors. You can, oopsie, that's the wrong brush. Actually, I should change the color of this to like something really obnoxious, so that if I ever accidentally draw with it, I immediately know for a fact that it's the wrong color. Okay, so the ability to like grab some strokes and stretch them around and bend and rotate and blah blah blah. You'd kind of think that would be like super useful, and what I found out was it's actually not that useful. kind of a... And in fact, some aspects of it I found were clunkier. So, to my credit, I did spend about 2 solid work days doing this whole pencil test in Blender Grease Pencil. And my final word after doing it in terms of whether it was beneficial to my process, my final word was meh. Not really. You know, it was okay. I wouldn't be talking about it, but the truth is some aspects of working in the Blender Grease Pencil turned out to be slower and clunkier and more time consuming than just doing it straight like here in OPENTOONZ. So, I gave it a fair try. Now, I'm not talking about Blender 2.8. I'm talking about just Blender 2.79 Grease Pencil. I did do yet another try with Grease Pencil 2.8. I think 2 days ago? Maybe it was 3 days ago. Hey, Rose. She slides in. Yes, she does. And unfortunately, how can I characterize my sense after using Blender Grease Pencil 2.8 a couple days ago? I would say this. Alright, I'm going to make a couple changes here. First of all, his thumb is too big. Okay, so what you want to do is preserve as much of the connections as possible. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the center point and drag it to there so that everything angles to that. And then I'm going to hit Shift. And, yep, just resize it a little bit. And then I'm actually going to cut it because, frankly, we got the same problem here. So, yeah, back to the Blender Grease Pencil. My sense after using it the other day was... how do I put this? I'm trying to think about how to say it. It's kind of like no problem, but definitely a really, really big learning curve of getting used to its idiosyncrasies and, you know, the hotkeys and the shortcuts and blah, blah, blah. And my sense was basically this. Once I learn all this, once I get through that little brief period of difficulty, sort of reacquainting with that application, what have I gained in terms of capability compared to what I had before I went through that learning curve? And my sense was almost nothing. So it just wasn't real compelling. Some people would say, well, wait a minute, Dave, you know, you've got the ability to do 2D animation in a 3D space. Yeah, I already have the ability to do 2D animation in a 3D space. Now, there are some things out there going on right now in that regard. With the virtual reality thing where people are... You know what, Oxer, I just went to your channel. I know I'm on early. I went to your channel a little while ago to check it out. I'm like, I wonder if Oxer live stream. I'm not seeing any... I think you must have renamed it, come to think of it. Okay, so it probably was a live stream and then you renamed it. But yeah, I actually... all those character drawings, the faces... Nice work, man. I thought it looked really good. Really, really, really good. Brother. Looking good. So, keep doing what you're doing. Right? Okay. This guy's in silhouette. So yeah, I didn't catch your live stream, but I did go and look at the videos just to see what you've been putting up there. And I had a stupid attack because I'm like, well, these aren't named live streams, so it must not have been a live stream. But then I looked at the videos and I'm like, okay, this is like 2 hours long. I'll bet you this was a live stream. So, okay. You know what? Dude, I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna open a second window, and I'm gonna turn the sound off. But look at just take a little peeky poo at the drawings. Let's see. You've got 2 of them. Yep. And I'm just gonna jump half an hour into your video and have that playing in the background here on another screen, just for the fun of checking it out. There we go. Oh, you put them in a playlist? Yeah, cool. Well, being that the one I'm looking at right now is 2 hours long, I don't really necessarily need the playlist to give myself enough content to keep my eyeballs busy for a while. Okay, so what do we got here? I guess we are into... Okay, what I'm going to do is scan through the whole bloody scene and see if there's anything I forgot. And then when okay, I'm going to take this line out. Okay, just so it's not gumming up the works and causing confusion. Now, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go down here, and I'm going to create a... I'm just going to call this red. Keep it simple. Okay, I'm going to call this red. And the reason I'm going to create this additional color is because this color is a standard OPENTOONZ brush. Why is that good? Well, because that means that I can use the G key to just create a line. And I can put this line across just like that. Okay, I got it in the wrong spot, so I'm going to start there. Yeah, that's perfect. That's basically perfect. Okay, and now later on, I can just delete this. I can delete this color out of the palette, and the line will disappear. And so I can have it in there as a guide and just delete it whenever I want. That ability, for me, it's almost like having layers within the layers, because you're using your palette entries as effectively extra layers for guides and things like that. So we'll call that red delete. I'll call it deletable, and I probably spelled that wrong. Is there an E in deletable? Well, the real question is deletable even a word? Okay, so now we got a little bit of a problem, come to think of it. And the problem is that I don't have a good way to grab that. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make it really easy on myself. I am going to use onion skinning. So there's the original red line. And I'm just going to put a mark there. Hello. So it's not going to be exactly in the right spot, but it's going to be within a pixel or two. And as a guide, it certainly will serve the purpose. Okay. And turn the onion skin off. There we go. Time lapse, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Alright, so now, back to the top. Down we go. Okay, actually, should we do the same thing here? No. This is what I'm thinking about right now, really has only to do with the background. And that's going to be painting. So the mental note I'm making myself right now is don't be stupid and delete this level that has the sketch in it, because you're going to need it again later. What I am going to do, however, is mute it. And by the way, as long as we're here, let's go ahead and name these levels a little more properly. And call it ink in paint. Okay. Cool beans. So now I can just go through and check this, see what's working, see what's not working with my characters. I think the... Let's see. let's do this too. Let's go in. Let me think. What do I want to do here? I want to... I guess I could do it this way. Okay, so that's almost like full screen mode, right? See a little problem there. Boom. Come back here. Boom. Okay, so let's... We have a little apparent breast volume problem. Think that fixes it. Now, I'm not necessarily buying the position of her hand, but I'm going to let it go because that zips by pretty quick, and it's kind of like boom, boom. You know, it's only going to be there for half a second. So, I mean, and actually, literally not even half a second. Okay, so this guy's going to go, ah! Whoops, that didn't work. That backfired. Ultimately, I think I'm going to zoom this shot in a little bit just so I don't have to draw Zen's hand. But, yeah, let's give it a shot. Let's give it a shot here. What if we were going to put Zen's hand in there? What would that look like? Well, I guess it would look something like that, but that would imply that his neck is about that big. So, you can... Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. That's okay. I'll draw it again. Okay, so here's going to be a problem. And I'm going to actually go way out here, like this. Not quite. The truth is, that would be quite a large grip. Okay, but that's cool. Erase. S key. I'm just gonna grab this. Control C. Control V. Let's turn it a little bit right there. And then let's go in here. Clean this guy up. Okay. There it is. Alright, so keep going. He lets him go. Okay. I see a problem. Let's just delete that guy. Let's grab this guy. Control C, Control B. Okay. I see what the problem is. That's good. No, that's not good. Actually, let's see what happens. Yeah, let's do that. Let's just paste it over. Cool. And then we got a little bit of a correction right there. S key, Control V. Bim. Definitely handy to be able to just paste it in there. Let's see. My eraser's just a little too big. Caused myself a problem. Okay. He lets him go. Frankly, there should be another frame in there where his eyes, his brow furrows and his eyes squint a bit. Okay. That's the expression I wanted there. And she's... Okay. That pose I don't like, but the problem is it's kind of necessary. I guess I could kind of sort of maybe fix that, but the problem is that she's got to get her back turned to Zen. Otherwise, we lose the benefit of this. And by the way, this actually should be like, this is another one of those anime idioms. Okay, we got a little issue here. And again, I mentioned yesterday that this is not really right because her leg would be actually emerging. Okay, I just kind of made that a little too slimmy poo. Okay. Alright. That's it. That's it, folks. Now it's time to deal with color. Let's hit the S key, and here's what we're going to do. We're going to go File. We're going to go to the last scene, the battle. And what we're going to do is, let's see here. Now that's kind of interesting. Oh, I know why. It's because that's the background. Duh. Here's what we want. Okay, so I'm going to go from here. I guess I need to save it. I don't think I'm going to be able to cut it to the clipboard. I don't think that works. I'll try it just for fun. Control C. This is, I know this is not going to work. OPENTOONZ is actually a little bit stupid when it comes to the clipboard. It won't. Yeah. No. Oh, it did work. It did work. Well, now. Call me a goofy pants. What's interesting about it is it looks like it. Oh, there they are. There's my colors. Okay, so what I was gonna say is it looked like it took the old colors and moved them downstream. So that's okay though. So let's just save all. That's great. That means we have all the colors in our palette instantly dragged into here. And like, so now we should check this. Hit the F key. Yeah, see, I had this color wrong. And the skin color, yep, I had this color wrong. And probably the eyes as well. Ah, we don't want that. Let's hit the P key so we can use the paintbrush. Yeah, it looks like I had that color right. Okay, cool. So onward, wait, Oxer, so how many beats based on what you've spec'd out have you gotten done so far? Well, what do you mean by beats? When I say, normally if I'm going to say a beat, I would probably be referring to a bit of action, which is normally going to be composed of one or more shots. So one camera angle, like that's a shot, that this whole sequence is a shot. So to answer that question, since most of these are locked camera shots, and there's 67 of them here, that would say to me that I've probably gotten about 50 beats. The beats of the story that you've completed. Basically, it's in various stages of completion. The first minute is like done and edited, which I've posted on YouTube, but the problem is that there's been so much done since then that invariably I'm going to go back to that first minute sequence and fix some things and make it better. But that'll be fairly quick to do. So the short answer is I don't quite know. But I think when it's all said and done, it comes out to about 6 minutes. I should check something here. I'm checking Blender. I want to pull up the wonk. I want to pull up the storyboard and just double check. Yeah, okay. I wanted to make sure I don't have extra drawings in the original Blender file that haven't quite made it into OpenTOONZ. So given that, looking at the beat list here, there's probably less than 1 minute of show. There's probably less than 1 minute of show left to draw, to create animatics, storyboards, yada yada. So I think, one of the questions that we've been asking ourselves is, do we want to attempt to sort of put on the salesman hat? By the way, I want to just mention, okay, I have a problem where this hair is leaking, right? And the fastest way to fix that is with the paintbrush. Okay, this as opposed to the brush tool. The paintbrush tool, don't ever do fills with the brush tool. I'm not even going to explain why. Trust me, you'll regret it. But when you go to use the paintbrush tool, one thing that's really useful is if you click selective, it prevents me from accidentally paintbrushing over something that was already painted before. So that makes it really easy to go like this and sort of fix the holes that might exist. And wango bango, as you can see, everything looks good. Now, there is a little bit of speckliness in there, but that's pretty quick and easy to fix with the paintbrush tool. So, alright, so Akari's dress. Where is Akari's dress? 90. Yep, that worked. That worked. P key. Okay, so what I was going to say is the question is, am I going to, take a 6 or 8 minute sequence and put on my salesman hat and go try to drum up some traction for the property based on, 6 or 8 minutes of finished animation plus a show Bible and probably a couple episodes that are scripted. Or are we going to just try to get that traction here on YouTube by, throwing it out there for the public to enjoy and just kind of go that route? So, and the answer is, don't know. That decision will probably be made real quickly, but have not specifically made that decision yet, what direction we're going to go. Let's see here. This is supposed to be Nighty and Iris, so P key. Let's hit Alt-I and shrink it down so it just fits perfect. Boom! There, that takes care of that. So yeah, like I said, short answer is I don't know. Oh shoot, I forgot that I turned selective off. I need like a hotkey for turning selective off and on. That would definitely be useful. Okay, an error occurred. What error occurred? That's kind of interesting. Pretty cool for coloring. I think I may go with a flatting. Right, well, Oxer, you do what works for you, man. You do what works for you. Alright, so one of the little issues here is that the Some of the colors are duplicated in the palette, so it's a little cumbersome here because the palette is longer than it usually is for me. So I have to scroll around. Let's see. Let's just keep rocking. Pretty cool for coloring. I think I might have to go with the flatting color line art value approach. So line work and color stays clean. Well, I take that to mean that by definition my color is not all that clean. Yeah, I would generally say I agree it's a little on the rough side. Whoops, darn it. Silly Dave. I want to fill areas, not lines, or erase areas, not lines and areas. Usually when I'm using the eraser, see what I should be doing right now is actually just using the paintbrush. Let's switch that back. I should have just hit the P key. And let's go in and again, I'm going to shrink this a little bit. And we've got selective turned on, so that makes it a little easier. Hitting the K key to sample that color so that I can just go in here. I think that how clean the color is pretty much a function mostly of how careful do you want to be. Okay, so I'm going to hit the eraser now, and I want to erase areas, so I'm just going to go back and chisel that back out. And it's just a little faster way to do it. So now the question becomes, see, this right here was done with a brush, which I have to say was probably a mistake. But once the shadows are on there and stuff, you're never going to see that in a million years, so I'm not going to worry about it. Alright, so now the question is, yeah, it says it's filled, or it's fillable, but it's leaking. So now I want to go in here, and I'm totally just speculating about where the leak is. But you know what? Since selective is turned on, I guess I could just go like this, and there's no danger of accidentally filling up something that's not supposed to be filled, or colored, I should say. So there we go. So I'm gonna go boom and see if that works, and it did. So now, of course, this is one of the prices that I pay for using the my paintbrushes. It's a little sketchier, and so the fills are not as tight and clean, and that's okay. I'm willing to pay that price because it looks good. All right, 90. There's the 90. And now what we want to do is, let's go down to about 8 pixels and just do some touch up, and I'm going to hit the N key so I'm seeing it at the scale that the audience would on TV, so that I make sure that I'm not missing something because the scale is too small. So one might object to the sketchy character of this. My contention is that actually it looks better. Once the shadows are on here, it's going to look incredible. So I'm going to go ahead and just fill her mouth with black. Cool beans. Oh yeah, where's the tie? The hair tie, right? I'm having to reacquaint myself with my palette, because things are kind of in a different position than they were in the last scene. I should have just saved the palette and imported that, truthfully, instead of dragging and dropping it, but oh well. Okay. So now what? Well, now we got Ninja's skin. Okay. And we do have a little bit of an issue here, so let's block that off. And now we need to go with black. Black. And there's a little bit of a problem that's going to have to be fixed, obviously. And, oh, that didn't work. Control Z. Selective just allows us to scribble and fix things up. Cool beans. Okay, this is the color open to the colors rough and layer, and the black units will be removed. Well, there's one thing too that you got to remember, Oxer, is that you could in OpenToonz, you could go in and do an anti-alias pass, and the anti-aliasing in OpenToonz does smooth things out a bit. Let me see if that. I haven't spent a lot of time like fiddling around with this, but so, and I'm not going to do it now. But when I've looked at it, the anti-aliasing actually does a pretty darn good job of, you know, as anti-aliasing as a post-process is not a bad thing. I mean, the truth is, you could do all your fills with your fills and inking in a pixelated fashion and do all your anti-aliasing as a post-process, and it actually would look pretty good. And a lot of anime has been done that way, actually. I do not remember what color this guy's eyes are, if you can believe that. Can you believe that? How can he forget the color of his character's eyes? How is this possible? How can he be that dumb? Well, yes, folks, it is possible, and I am that dumb. By gum. So, what color are his eyes? His eyes are just dots. I literally have no idea. It seems to me I vaguely remember making them blue. But I better double check this. Get myself in trouble here. So let's go back to this shot, or this scene. Alright. Black, black, black eyes. So we're looking for a shot of ninja number 2. Ah, there he is. And right there his eyes are just dots. Dots. Oh, right there. Nope, dots. This guy's eyes are always dots. Okay. File. So the question is, do we want to redraw these as dots, or do we want to say, hey, we're going to take some creative license and say that in these really tight close-ups, he's going to have blue eyes the same color as his wraps. Yep, that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so now what we need to do to accommodate this guide is we need to color on one side of the guide and then delete the guide. So I'm going to color underneath it. Okay, that would be wraps. This is a little bit obnoxious. Actually, I'll just color that side. Doesn't matter as long as we've got a clean border wherever the line exists. So black. Oopsie poo. Can't do that. But we can do that. So let's see here. I guess that. Let me check this. Okay, that did not make sense. This is stupid. How dumb can I be, right? Let's hit the eraser, make it big, and we're clearing out areas. Yeah, that was kind of a goofy mistake. Like everything else, we'll blame it on dyslexia. Alright, so the fill actually would be... Yeah, we can't do that because the line is actually higher than we originally envisioned it. So, and okay, that works. That works. Okay, and now what we're going to do is take the borderline. I may be doing this in kind of a dumb way, but okay, that's the auto paint color. I got the wrong palette entry there, folks. All right, let's do that. Okay, so that line is going to be there no matter what, so I have to delete it. Delete it. Delete it. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, there. That's what we wanted. Yep. Okay. And now, definitely need to erase some lines and areas here. The real problem is I allowed this to stay in here earlier. So basically this is all going to be fixed at the background painting stage, because we'll put the background painting in there and that will create that border where we need it to be. But apparently on this frame I forgot to. Okay, the only time it's clean is with vectors, but I'm liking raster levels. Artist palette. Well, you can already do that. You can already do that, Oxer. How can you do that? Well, if I want this orange color, I just hit the K key and sample it. And obviously, if I wanted to, I could have another level that's visible up in the corner with palette colors or whatever. So you're either going to click over here, or you're going to click with the K key here, or you could click with the R key and sample the color, which would change the color of whatever the current palette entry is. So the K key selects the palette entry. You can see it changing here. There's the eye color. There's the flesh tone. And if I select this color, this black, and hit the R key, then that palette entry is changed to... So, looks to me like that capability is already completely present in OPENTOONZ. Well, that's what you often find out with OPENTOONZ. I've said this before, but this is one of the reasons I like OPENTOONZ, is everything you wish it did, you always find out, oh, it already does that. Oh, I can do what I had in mind. Cool. That's like, not 100% of the time, but usually that's what happens with OPENTOONZ. You find out that what you want to do, you can do. You know, if you just take a cursory look at OPENTOONZ, because you're maybe a cartoonist or whatever, you're not going to notice that there's this really powerful and capable node-based compositing situation with a quadzillion different effects. You know, you wouldn't think about that. You wouldn't assume that's in there, but by gum, it is. All right, oops, got a little problem there. So I am definitely expecting to have a fair amount of see, what bugs me here is that okay, OPENTOONZ. Okay, what I want to do generally is keep selective on, and let me just see. Oh, there's the leak. There's the leak right there. I'll bet you it closes now. Nope, it doesn't. Let's see what happens if we try to fill it. Okay. We'll go with that. Alright, colors. I think we got her done. Okay, wraps. Nope. So again, I'm just going to patch it up. So the question is, what about patching? Isn't that like a royal drag? And the answer is, it's a drag, but it's not a royal drag. It'd be nice if we didn't have to do patching. It'd be nice if, as Oxer's saying, if all the lines and outlines and stuff were clean. The reality is, I don't want a clean look. I want a sketchy aesthetic that looks more or less like scanned pencil drawings. Why? Because it's an anime in the style of, say, Studio Trigger. And at Studio Trigger, what do? They hand draw all their frames on paper still, believe it or not. And if that's the aesthetic that we're after, then we have to adopt practices that get us to that aesthetic. Hence, nothing wrong with clean. Clean's awesome, but it's not what I want for this. Fill tool. There we go. Okay, we're going to definitely have a problem here. Yeah. Well, the vibe I get, Oxer, with you with OPENTOONZ is that I don't sense that you've been spending time working with OPENTOONZ and going, this program just doesn't work for me. Like you're really grokking it. Just like I'm not grokking Clip Studio. And so, and I get myself in a pickle when I rant about certain programs and their capabilities or lack thereof, because oftentimes those rants come in the wake of having not actually spent the time to really learn it. And I've been guilty of that quite a few times. So, but that's what these channels are for, is for watch and learn kind of thing. What did I say I was doing here? I said I was gonna do the blue eyes. So, and the thing about it is, there's a price to be paid. Hey Darren, if you spend a bunch of time with OPENTOONZ, you very well could find out that you don't like it. So that's kind of the risk you run by committing to spend the time to learn an application. You might spend that time and find out it still sucks for you. And it might be wonderful for someone else. It's like I've told you with Clip Studio. I've used Clip Studio. I hate it. I hate the interface. Something about its interface is inscrutable. But that's true of OPENTOONZ. It's true of Blender for sure. So it makes me wonder if the reason so many people love Clip Studio is because it really is awesome and I just haven't paid the price to get through the learning curve and be able to become productive with it. I suspect that is the case because a lot of people really love Clip Studio. Clip Studios, clearly it's a very capable program. I've heard that you have Japanese studios that are producing anime that are Clip Studio is, becoming their tool of choice. So you got to respect that. Blah 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 blah. So yeah, it's a bummer that I have to do. That I got to do this hand painting, but you know what? That's kind of fun. Kind of fun to do anyway. So who cares? I'm gonna change this to non-selective so I can actually fix. And I need to make this lines and areas for just a moment. Boom. I hate to do that, but that I had an erroneous green line sneaking through. So, and this is a good example where, you know what, you can spend, if I want to spend all day making this frame as absolutely gorgeous as possible, hey, I can do so. And maybe it's worth it, maybe it's not. It just depends. When Oxer talks about being clean, I suspect this is what he's talking about, this kind of thing right here, where the paint edges are not anti-aliased. And that is objectionable to a point, but what I've found in practice is it doesn't seem to be. You think it's going to be a problem, and then you see the show, you play it back, and you find out it's not a problem at all. You don't even notice it. You never think about it in a million years, kind of thing, right? So that's where hitting selective is really useful, because I can just scribble here and clean up all those little areas. And I don't have to worry about accidentally going outside the lines. It's just going to fill in the speckles, like right there. That's pretty cool. That's really easy. Alright, so that gets us through that frame. Man, I hate this sequence. I do not like this sequence. It's my least favorite sequence in the scene. I just don't think it really played as well as I had maybe hoped. Alright, but that's okay. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. I'm just patching the holes so that I can go boom Alright, and then let's grab black. Whoops. Fill tool. Alright, yeah, there's definitely some room for improvement there, huh? Oopsie, we don't want to do that. So, it's more how the work overlays the color. I have no issue with the sketchy art, it's just how it yeah. It's got its own way of doing it. You know, for me, I'm thinking what you want to do is not worry about any aliasing so much as fill the area, and then immediately you've got a copy of the lines in memory, and then you would do a multiply operation, re-multiplying the lines back over top of the fill. That would give you your cleanest fill, and it would be tantamount to having the fill happening on a completely separate layer, which of course you can do in Krita. As far as I know, I have not found a way in OPENTOONZ to be able to do that. Okay, we got a little bit of an issue here. Looks like we decided to give this guy 5 fingers, or I mean 6 fingers for some reason. So, quick fixie poo. There we go. It's not the most gorgeous hand rendering in the history of animation, but at the same time, I don't want to do that. I want to get this somewhat kind of close before I do the fill. So I'm thinking that will probably take care of that, and that, that. Whoopsie. Okay, so that's an example of what I was talking about. Theoretically, you would think because this is filled, whoops, wrong color there, Jack. You would think because it's filled that it's going to create an effective border here. And I mentioned this the other day. What you find is that, ta-da, the paintbrush tool does not necessarily create a firm border for filling the way the brush tool does. So that's a little irritating. What's weird about it is I'm pretty sure, let's take this as an example. Okay, I got the paintbrush tool. I've got selective on, so I can't accidentally erase my my mask. So now if I go like this with the paintbrush, like that, now I'll bet you it'll fill. Ta-da! See? So that's just an example where you just get used to the way the tools work, and you find out that they're pretty capable. But with any complex program, of course, there's kind of a lot to learn. I'm going to do this skin operation over lines. Bam! Okay, wait a second. Control Z. I'm going to have to zoom in for this one. And gonna literally go down teensy weensy just to fix. Actually, you know what I should do? That's kind of stupid. Well, I mean, I guess I should do that, but then what I want to do is grab my ink pencil and let's just, yeah, see, this is where OPENTOONZ gets a little annoying. What I actually have to do is erase this so that I can sort of start clean, and then I can go like this, put that in there, and this is probably even doing a better job of underscoring what Oxer was talking about. You know, that looks pretty ugly, but having said that, at normal size, you're definitely not going to see that. So, is it really a problem, or does it just feel like a problem when you're zoomed in? I would say it pretty much feels like a problem. It's not actually a problem. Okay, we got through that, didn't we? P. I'm a Krita baby. Well, there's nothing wrong with being a Krita baby, man. That's to each his own, or her own, as the case may be. Alright. Golly, I've been live streaming for an hour and 15 minutes. Okay. really want to get through this sequence. Bear with me for half a second, folks, while I ditch the hoodie. Alright, where are we at? Next. Yep, one more. Oh, thank goodness we're almost done with this. This extra not fun sequence. Ah, shoot. I like the fact that the eraser, you can hit Alt and then just drag and the eraser changes size. I wish that all the brushes and all the tools worked the same way. It'd be kind of cool. But they don't. What you have is the I key. If you hit the I key, the brush, I don't remember if this is a default hotkey, actually, come to think of it, but you can increase the minimum and maximum and decrease the minimum and maximum sizes of brushes with the I key. I think I have it set up so that J, like I is for the minimum and J is for the maximum or something like that. In practice, I drive a superior white Suzuki car. That's how white Power Blast works. Okay. Okay, that's great. No problem, dude. I'm glad you like your car. I drive a minivan that I call the Crapmobile because I basically refuse to like fix it or try to make it nice or anything. Half the fun is the fact that it's a piece of junk that seems to just keep going and going and going and going like the Energizer Bunny. Alright. Skin. Let's see if this backfires. Nope. Nope. Okay. P key. Let's see. Let's hit N so we're at least operating at normal resolution here. And we got this. Well, I thought we had the same problem as before, but we don't. We've got simply have a finger that's failed to fill. And you can see a little bit of hand painting involved. That's okay. We don't mind. Fill that or not. Or we could not fill that, because if we try to fill that, it's a disaster. So now what I'm going to do is try to... That's how white Power Blast works. I don't know what that even means, man. I don't know what that means. What is playing here? Okay. Let's see. Just making sure we don't have any leaks. Let's see if it... Does that work? Yeah, that worked. Okay. And probably what we really want to do here is do a freehand fill to just clean that up. And I'm actually going to go here and do the same thing. As long as I'm here, why not? Use the tools that are... Whoa! Use the tools... Okay, now we got a real problem. Okay. Classic. Okay, this is where we have a big problem. I just did a fill that I really didn't want to do, and OPENTOONZ refuses to let me undo. And you can see that there's some corruption going on. You can see that things are screwy. Alright, so I'm going to save all. I probably shouldn't save all. That probably was a mistake. But I'm going to reload my scene, and I'm sure that this frame is, yeah, it's hopelessly screwed up. So, you know what? That happens once in a great, great, great blue moon, so I'm not going to cry about it. But it is a bummer only because this line is now destroyed. So what I need to do is take color 0 and do a fill in normal mode. Boom. And just start over with this particular frame. And I'll turn on the onion skins at the appropriate moment so I can get his costume filled in. So yeah, that's just goes to show OpenToonz isn't all, you know, candy and wonderfulness. Sometimes it gets stupid. But it is rare. You know, it doesn't actually happen that often. So, I've never seen the program that didn't have some quirks and bugs. Using Dave's voice to relax. My voice, the voice of relaxation. Oh yeah, that's me. Why is it some people think my voice is the voice of stress induction? Alright. Let's see if we got this. Yeah, that's really a bummer. Well, here's what I'm going to do. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to cheat. I'm going to do it the same way I did it before. I'm going to go to the end of my palette, create a new color, and change the name to anything except something stupid, so that I can then hit the turn on the onion skins. Okay, now I can see where the line is, and I'm going to go ahead and hit the G key. And put that line back in there like that. Do I really need it here? I don't think I actually do, but no, I don't need it there. I only need it for filling purposes. So, alright, let's turn these obnoxious onion skins off. Now we're back in business. So there's the ninja costumes. Hello. And we've got leaks. Wonder if it... Yeah, it doesn't show clean, so at least OpenToonz isn't lying to me. I suspect there's a leak there. And let's see if that did the trick. Nope. There's a leak right there. So it's most unfortunate that I have to fiddle with leaks, but you know what? Welcome to the real world. Back in the old days, they had to hand paint all these frames. Okay, so is that because this is a paint line, not a an ink line? In other words, it's actually an area, not a line. Is that why that's doing that? I don't know. Got no idea. Don't care. I'm just gonna grunt my way through this and look forward to when I'm done with this little 4-frame sequence. Yeah, that leaking is not cool. Alright, F key still won't fill. So no matter what I do, it will not fill. Okay, that's fine. This is one of those moments where it's like, okay, it's really tempting to get irritated, because I don't really want to have to completely redo the entire frigging outline just so I can fill in my area. But apparently that's precisely what I have to do. I haven't bumped into the sort of OpenToonz being stupid about fill operations thing in quite a while, and it's actually, let me see what happens if we turn down the fill depth mode. Okay, that doesn't help. I actually don't even know what the scale of this is. From what I remember, when I had this set at like 2 to 10 or something like that, it seemed to be about right. Fill depth menu, auto paint lanes, line areas. So yeah, so here you have a great example of when things go sucky. I can't get it to fill. It doesn't want to fill. What if I do freehand? What if I do this? Then will it fill? What the hell was that? Oh man. Yep, keep singing the praises of OpenToonz and then have it act like a completely second-rate piece of junk toy program for the first time in quite a long time. I don't know what the heck's going on with it. It's acting extremely wacky right now. Yep, everything I do doesn't work. Nothing fills. Why? I don't have a clue. You know what? Screw it. I'm skipping this frame. And I'm going to actually save all. And I'm going to kill OpenToonz and reopen it, because almost every time I've ever seen really bizarre behavior from OpenToonz, a reload fixes it. You know, there is no question that there are many, you know, like basically database management issues in OpenToonz where one area doesn't update another. Alright, let's just try this again and see if anything changed. Boom. Nope. Nothing's changed. Oh well. Alright. This may be... I think I'm being punished. The fates are punishing me because I said earlier that this little 4-frame sequence is the one part of the scene that I really don't like that much. And so, of course, it's the part of the scene that I have to literally spend the most time. I'm going to spend an hour just painting this one stupid cell because for some bizarre reason, OpenToonz fill tool has decided today, I don't work. I just don't work anymore. Not going to work. Sorry. Fill tool. Look at that. Literally nothing works. Okay, well I said I was going to move on, so that's what I'm going to do. Now it's working fine. Everything's back to normal. Okay, silhouette. Silhouette. And we'll go ahead and paint that. Fill tool. Yep, everything's back to normal now. Once I got off that stupid cursed frame. That is so bizarre. It's just not something you see coming down that often. Actually, I think I was using the leather color for his little slippers. So I gotta zoom in here and let's do a fill operation there and there, and again I gotta hit Alt-I to shrink this down so that it's functional. Okay, groovy cool. Now I'm gonna come up here, and as long as I got the paintbrush going, let's go ahead and paint. Okay. Alright, and this guy has wraps, black. Looks like he doesn't have a left hand, which is kind of a unfortunate circumstance for him. Alright, let's paint that in, and then let's just take the eyes, and since selective is selected, I can't accidentally paint over the flesh tone, which is kind of cool. Hitting the K key, and again, touching up, and technically, actually I'm going to hit undo. Technically this is supposed to be leather. Fill that, okay. But unfortunately it requires a little bit of touch up. As we expect. Alright, so what do we have here? Okay, this shot, we're going to get a little bit of leverage. Well, not much. That's fine. Let's go to silhouette. 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 I'm going to actually go through. Yeah. Yep. I'm going to go through and spank in some of these silhouettes. There's a little issue right there. Yep, that took care of that and that. Yeah, this guy is like, I've said before, he's basically Spider-Man. Really not Spider-Man. Who's the black guy? Venom? Either Venom or Carnage. I don't remember which one is the black costume versus the red costume. But yeah, he's Venom or Carnage, I guess. Or at least he looks kind of sort of that way. Probably could fill that right there, I would say. Okay, and that's a silhouette. So I'm basically going through and just doing all the silhouettes. I'm not going to silhouette this because that's going to be in shadow. It's going to effectively be kind of like a silhouette. And I think... Whoa, a little bit of an issue there as well. Zoom in, baby. There's the leak right there. Oh, come on. Really? I hit the wrong key. Alright, and obviously... Let's see if we hit the fill tool there. Okay, that's cool. Back to the silhouette. Where's my silhouette? Come back, silhouette. There it is. You must have a gap somewhere on the previous drawing. Could be. You're saying that... Yes, you're saying there's a gap here, and I'm not seeing where the gap is, and I did a cut and paste operation here. But even so, you would think if this is all hemmed in by paint, that it would create an effective border. But I've said that in another video. OPENTOONZ does not treat, as useful as the paintbrush tool is, OPENTOONZ does not treat it as a firm border creator for filling purposes, which is rather annoying. And while I'm here, I think I'm gonna go ahead and, what do we want to do? I'm gonna have to play with this, but I'm not sure if I want the silhouette to be like that, like lighter than the outlines, or if I want it to be darker than the outlines. I'm just not really sure. My sense is that probably I'm going to be safer to have it be a little lighter than the outlines. I think in the context of with a background painting behind it, that'll probably look pretty good. But we shall see. Okay, back to work. Fill tool? Yeah. Fill tool? Ah! Yep, forgot about this little gap right here. Well, that's a risky run with using my paintbrushes. So here we go. Silhouette. Silhouette. Control Z. There's our leak right there. Now this is my own fault because I said I was going to kind of religiously do fill checking as I went along, and I haven't done that. Yeah. Control Z. Looks to me like we got an issue right there. Yep. So there's that. And obviously we got a massive issue here. And what I'm doing is I'm actually using the paintbrush, but I have it, the size is only 4 pixels, so I can really sneak in there and tighten things up. Almost use it like the regular brush. And by the way, while I'm here, I'm going to fix that. probably want to leave that on areas most of the time. Okay, and actually, again, while we're here, we have this area down here that really needs to be filled with the silhouette. Well, that worked. Okay, so now what we'll do is we'll fill his face, but we will make the we'll really add a shadow layer to that, make it darker. Okay, now we have a problem. I just realized a major problem that we have, don't we? You guys, if you guys are paying attention, you see it. The problem is that this guy's costume was supposed to be the same color as the silhouette color. Well, yes and no. Actually, I'm going to say there's a distinction between silhouette and black. I'm going to go ahead and go with this, but I think when we're in a close-up situation, I'm going to go back to black. And I think here we'll go back to silhouette. It's just a matter of being able to see it, you know, in context, and I sort of have to imagine what the background image is going to look like and stuff. Black is possibly covering up a gap in the actual ink line. If you lower the opacity of the black fill for just a second, you'll probably see the gap. That's my guess. Let's try it. Why not? Let's try it. Okay, right here. So what you're saying is take the black. Okay, it turns out we've got two different shades of black. So that's an interesting state of affairs. That may provide some insight as to what's going on. This is the... Uh-oh, I'm going to sneeze. Sorry. Bless me. Okay, ninja costumes. Okay, so what we see is that, first of all, that the paint is not contiguous. So that's interesting. So what I'm going to do, just to test Darren's theory here, is I'm going to make my eraser bigger, and I'm going to erase areas. And so I'm going to do that so that I can then go to the ninja costumes, which is already open, and I'm going to use the paintbrush. I guess I probably should make it a little bigger. And I'm going to try to close this situation with the... If this works, then what it tells me is that the paintbrush areas of color only act as a fill border if it's a single color. Yep, there you go. Good one, Darren. Good one. It's not quite the solution you thought, but it led me to the solution, so I appreciate that. So yeah, there you go. Ninja 2 hair, Ninja 2 hair. It's hardly the same color, but we'll go with it. And now we still have a problem. Are we selective? Yes, we're selective. So that means we can do this. Boom, 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 boom. So basically, you know, hand painting I don't mind doing. It's actually kind of a peaceful pursuit, you might say. But I don't think I would want to have to fill everything this way. Okay, cool beans. Alright, so now I'm going to go back up here, and the basic problem we have right now is that we've got, because we cut and pasted the palette from the other level, we actually have two. We have ninja costumes and we have black. And we're going to have a problem because sometimes we use one, sometimes we, yeah, there's an example right there. This is actually black, this is actually ninja costume. And going north, I can pretty well guarantee, okay, that's ninja costumes. So I think what I should do is just, shoot, darn it. Yeah, and that's black, and I can't fill it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the color of black to blue, Why? So I can see it. Okay. And as you can see, probably here's what I should actually do. I'm going to make that black again, and this is what I'm going to make blue. The reason I'm going to do that is because this was used a lot less, and this is a lot higher up on the palette. Now I do believe, actually let me test this. I'm going to hit Control X. Nope, that won't delete. It seems to me that if you, at least if you create a new palette entry, it always creates it right next to whichever one was selected at the time. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and fix this guy right now, and then I think that's actually going to pretty much fix my problem. Yeah, so that was the more economical solution. Okay, and okay, did I just do what I thought I just did? Yep, I had a dyslexia moment. I had a dyslexia moment, and I did exactly the opposite of what I said I was going to do. Didn't I? Now I'm confused. Like I said, dyslexia moment. Okay. Theoretically, I want to use the color that's the farthest north. So therefore, I want black to be selected. Yeah. Yeah, right there. Boom. And let's... gosh, what do we want to do here? I think the way to fix this would be, this is going to erase areas, so I'm just going to suffer through this. After all, let's face it, this particular frame of the show has taken 850 trillion billion zillion times longer to screw around with than any other frame in the whole freaking show. So we might as well take a little more time. Crazy, man. Okay, now that I've done that, now what I'm going to do is take this and delete it forever. Gone. And then come back up here to black, and I'm going to call this Ninja Costumes. Now, is there any reason it really needs to be called that instead of black? That's true. That's true. And you could, yeah, use the fill range option, transfer all those blue fills to the actual black that you want, then delete the blue range. Yep. You're right. That's one of those workflow things that I sort of discovered, and then it's just really easy to forget because I haven't actually had to use it a lot. Let's not be selective, because actually, well, no, that's not true. Actually, the hair would be in front. So let's leave that on. Just to be safe. Let's just be safe. So, you know, it's cool because I'm learning some new things today about how OPENTOONZ deals with fill zones and things like that. So ninja costume here. And, okay, can I fill that or not? Yeah. And so now what I'm going to go do is get rid of my guideline. Alright, so let's just delete the stupid thing forever. Die. Alright. Okay, cool. So now all we got to do is get his face done, and we're finally done. And by the way, this one, Ninja Flesh, I'm deleting that too. That's a holdover from way back. And this skin color is what I've been using, so I don't want to confuse things. And Control Z. By the way, I better save early, save often. Okay, so I'm going to create a border here. I'm just going to create a border because I know that will work. I think there's my leak right there, probably. But rather than fight with it, let's just do that. Alright. So yeah, I'm kind of struggling in real time here on YouTube more than normal, I think. I guess it's not a surprise though, because when I am doing you know, animatics, animation. Things tend to go really fast and fun. And as I've sort of alluded to at other times, once you get into ink and paint, it becomes a bit of a job. Definitely. It's just not as smooth and fun of a process. Are we still selective? No, let's go selective so that we can just go. Okay, I'm having a brain fart. K key, sorry. Yeah, pushing 2 hours here. Okay, Okay, back to work. Back to wake. Fill. See, this is the way it's been behaving most of the time. I've been finding that OPENTOONZ has been doing really good with, really well, I should say, proper English, really well with the my paintbrushes as far as you know, zones for fill operations and stuff like that. It's been pretty impressive, actually. Okay, and now 90. Okay, so what I need to do here is grab. Well, hold on. There's one thing. P. Okay, so now I'm going to grab this, Control C, and let's just, I guess that's it. I guess it was just those 2 frames. Okay. Alright. So now, what are we going to do? Well, ninja costumes. Fill. Is it going to bleed? Nope, it didn't bleed. Well, it kind of did, actually. Okay, so we got a leak there. Yeah, see, OPENTOONZ is erroneously telling me that I have it closed when in fact I do not. So where might the leaky be? I don't see it. Do you see it? I'm following this whole perimeter, and I see 0 leak. Alright, let's give it another crack. That worked. Okay. Wraps, boom, boom, boom. And actually, there too. His hair color, I don't recall, but it seems to me it was purple. That's where I need like character sheets, which OPENTOONZ has some kind of mechanism for dealing with character sheets or something. I've never even looked into it. Fill. Wraps. Boom, 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 boom. And actually, K key, fill, skin, boom, boom. P key, we'll just actually strike that. Let's use the ninja costume color with the paintbrush and we'll just sort of paint into the lines. Alright, and as long as we're here, let's just do the same thing again. And fill tool definitely has some issues there, which are completely understandable since let's see if that did it. It did. Okay, that's fine. I'm gonna say that his hand can go into a silhouette situation. No problem. Okay, and K. Why do I have the sniffles today? I seem to be insniffulated. P. Okay. Alright, so now, file, save all. I'm going to go back to the previous drawing just to look at the previous scene, more properly called the previous sequence. in order to find, yeah, this guy. Okay, so what I want to do is go K, and he was the hair tie color. Okay, no problema. Okay, so now that's kind of interesting. I must have used the standard, yes. I did not use the skin tone to fill these. I had used the Ninja Flesh color that I deleted, so that's fine. I'll go back and fix that. But what I was wondering about was, I hate the way OPENTOONZ doesn't remember this, and it doesn't remember this. Every time you reopen it, it switches it back. Okay, so here, fill operation. That's almost the same color, but cool beans. So that's that. So as long as we're here, do we want to try to do it like this way? Why not? Oops. And actually, that right there should be his hair color. Color 0. I'm gonna have to find the leak there. No problem. So right now I'm kind of not using best practices, I suppose, because what I'm doing is I'm just zipping through and filling what I can, and so I'm leaving a lot that I'm gonna have to come back to later. Silhouette. Okay, so that's actually long hair guy laying on the ground, so fine. Let's go back here. 152. I'm going to quit at 2 hours, folks. I'm going to quit at 2 hours. Just go take a break. So fill that. And of course, it didn't work. So, P key. There we go. Eyes. Non-selective. K key. Oh, come on, really? K. Sample it, man. There we go. Next. Okay, this might turn out to be a blast. No, it was actually pretty easy. Okay. So then we've got that little region right there. And because it's such a small detail, I'm just going to hand paint it. And then I think what I'll do is go to selective and then just scribble over this to fill in the little detail areas behind her eyebrows and her nostril, frankly. Yeah, cool. K key here. Alright. Alrighty then. K key. P. And again, I'm just going to scribble because it's only going to fill stuff that hasn't already been filled. But there's a problem right there, and I'm going to solve that problem with the eraser. And now I'm going to go to Kari's hair, and I'm just going to see it's messing with those lines. So unfortunately I've got to erase everything. This is just utterly unacceptable. Utterly unacceptable. Okay, now I'm going back to my pencil. Okay, let's see if that did the trick. Pretty much. Pretty much. Not that there aren't still some slightly hokey spots here and there. Oops. Okay. Yada yada yada. Alright, so now this must have been filled with the wrong flesh tone, so fix that. And that was an unmitigated disaster. Well, this is actually where Krita is pretty respectable. If you're gonna have to go in and hand paint a lot of stuff and fine tune it like I'm doing here today, and you really want to be hands-on with the art, you know, and as opposed to, you know, in a perfect scenario of assembly line production, of basically you would probably be using the fill range tool a lot, and you wouldn't be doing all this hand tweaking. Look at that, God darn it. Well, if you're going to have to go in and do everything by hand, every single thing's got to be tweaked to death, then actually Krita is just as good as OPENTOONZ. Not for animation, obviously, but as far as ink and paint and color, yeah. You know, if you're going to have to dick around with it anyway for hours on end, then you can do it laboriously like this in any program. You know, GIMP. Whatever. Okay, so now I utterly and completely forgot to give this poor guy a hand. Can you guys believe that? So I'm just going to go like that. No, that didn't work. I'm going to do it like that. And then I'm going to fill it with the ninja costume color mostly. And unfortunately, again, there's no fast way to change the sizing on the paintbrush like you can the eraser. With the eraser, you just hit the Alt key and drag, and it resizes the eraser, which is great. So here's the eraser. If I just hit Alt and drag, I can resize it instantly. If you didn't know that, well, that might save you some time here and there. Okay, and at 157, I'm going to finish this frame, and then I'm quitting for a while. Wraps, wraps, ninja costume, black, black, black. Ooh, that was quick. Let's do this too. Let's just cheat a little bit and fill in a little bit outside the lines there. That's fine, and I'm going to go ahead and touch that up with a extra line. I don't mind that extra line that's in there. It just makes it, gives it character. Okay, that's it. I'm done. I am D-U-N done. And I will see y'all later.